Round of applause for them cheeks, I'm about to clap. Tryna go out, get a lady every single day.
You ever wonder what it would look like if Teddy Ruxpin and Notorious B.I.G. had a test tube baby? Feast your eyes.
What's my goal? I just say, I'm a shooter, I'm a hitter, I'm a spray 'em all.
Shameless Dab is back on Redonkulas.com promoting his new remix titled Rashida Jones. Yep, there she is. Giggity. Click on the link in the description to give it a listen and show a bear a good time. Space Ghost.
I'm sorry, my feelings might come across stand dog. She gon' talk me to some Luther Vandross. Getting money, baby, let your man's flow. Had to cancel on them, you know plans fall. I just leveled up, had to branch off. It's hard to commit.
What's up, you disgusting DNA duplicators? Terrence Popp here. Redonkulas.com. Good Popp showed up today because we're about to get royally cocked here. Welcome to Family Feud, Redonkulas Edition. Here's where we run down that list of those people. You know, the ones you share genetic material with? Jesus Christ. And they can be your immediate or extended family. But on average, you'll have about 6 of these in your family, and that is where the drinking game begins. We are going to go down a list of 30 types of people. And if you run into any of these jokers at a funeral or family reunion, take a shot. Like I said, we have 30 possibilities, and pray you don't have them all. But if you do, why the hell did you not invite me? Because that is comedy gold. You see that? They're about to fight. Oh, they're pushing? Oh, first punch! Yeah, let's go! Yeah! Kick some ass! If that situation sounds familiar, pour yourself a menagerie and make it the good, strong stuff. Because we're about to break off a branch of your family tree and ram it where the sun don't shine. Yeah. We're gonna start off with 2 types of people that I call diarrhea mouths. And yeah, most of these people are whamming. Links in the description.
Hi, I'm Stacy.
Motormouth Mike or Michelle. And everyone has one of these in their family, so time to drink. You can hear these people as soon as you get out of your car. In the street, their voice sends tingles and jingles of doom. I said it. Down your spine. You'll always stop halfway up the walk and go, is it worth it? Do I really need to continue here? But someone took a dirt dart, so you have to. So suck it up and suck it in. These people could talk until there is no more oxygen left in the room. Even then, you could shoot them into space and they will learn sign language just to keep going. Then, of course, the second one, Mr. and Mrs. Buttinskis. They weren't in the room when the talking started, and they don't even know what you're talking about. But once they show up, you can't even complete a sentence. Everything that you say just happens to remind them of something that happened to them, and they have to interject for 15 to 20 minutes, sometimes longer. Look, Space Ghost is on.
Good one.
Take it from me, gentlemen. Don't say anything, because it's not worth it, and just leave the room. If you call them out on it, it's going to turn into a huge fight, and that is not why you came.
Okay, we'll have to go with a big off.
Now we're going to move on to the next group of people, and I call this good potluck. And I think we're going to serve up 4 more fresh shots, so get them ready. Over late Larry or Lucy. Yeah, I got one of those. It doesn't matter what time you put on the invitation, they're not showing up on time. You can make a special invitation that says the whole thing starts an hour early. They're still late. And you want to know why that is? They're on permanent chick time, and I made a whole video about that. Links in the description. But at least Larry or Lucy bother to show up eventually. On the flip side of them, you got yourself no-show Mo. Everyone told you not to bother inviting him to your wedding, but you sent him an invitation anyway because you're stupid. Of course, he RSVP'd, but he still doesn't show up, and he never planned to in the first place. Do these people get off on wasting other people's money? Especially at a wedding. Some of these places charge $50 a plate. That's ridiculous. $50 a plate for food that's worse than the Army Chow Hall? I'd rather eat that than spend the $50. I would rather eat an MRE vomit than most wedding food. Between getting married, the bad food, and inviting no-show Mo, you're dumb 3 times. Then you have the people who show up to every family function, but they might as well not even be there. Seriously, just push them up against the wall or put a funny hat on them and stick them in the garden. That is about how useful these people are. I'm talking about Mr. Do-Nothing and Bare Minimum Barry. Mr. Do-Nothing, he's not going to help you clean up. He doesn't bring shit, but he shovels all your food and drinks all your beer. Bare Minimum Barry is pretty much the same guy, but he'll actually help you clean up. You know, moving a couple of the styrofoam cups 1 or 2 at a time. Looking busy, but really not doing anything either. The best you can hope for with him is he'll take all the returnables, put them in a bag, put them in his car, and then he deals with it and gets the cash. Not only did he cost you money, but you're paying him to be there, you idiot. Drink. Never ever invite Bare Minimum Barry. Or elect him along with his husband Michael, Screen 5. With that being said, we are going to move on to the money men. Every family has 1 or 2 of the rich guys in it, sometimes both. You have the rich a-hole who has no problem crushing you into dust to better himself. Or you get the genuine good dude who doesn't mind helping you out. And if you have this guy in your family, you're blessed. But you didn't take his advice to buy $2,000 in Bitcoin back in 2014, and you're still broke. Bummer. And of course, at any gathering where you have rich people walking around, you're gonna get one of these. I call him SpongeBob No Pants because he's so poor he makes sure everyone else knows it. These people are beggars and mooches, and they're totally cool with it. They instinctively know who has the money, and they have no dignity, so they'll beg for it.
Because it's just a tiny loan, and you'll help me get by in these tough times, and I'll totally pay you back.
And this person could be a man or a woman. Either way, you're not getting that money back. And because they're a relative, you can't take pussy payments up front. Jesus Christ, Green 5. That's disgusting.
Ew. Ew, ew, ew.
Even if this person is into that, the rich good guy, he's gonna turn you down every time. But the rich bad guy, I hope you're on the pill. I'm just saying, dudes, there's something wrong with you if you go to a family reunion to get a date. After this, we come to, and we all have them, don't judge me, the substance abusers. You got the smokers, the drinkers, and shamefully, the druggies. The smokers, they all instinctively form these cliques, and they go out to smoke at the same time at the most inconvenient time.
It's time to do the dishes and put the food away. Space Ghost is on.
The drinkers, they all congregate in the alcohol drinking zone. And if there's a television nearby, guess who's crashing on your couch every time? But I'm not shaming the drinkers because they are great people to have around in a pinch. Besides, if I did shame drinkers, I'd be a little bit of a hypocrite, wouldn't you say? These people routinely show up with enough booze for the party. Why? They can't take the chance that you won't have any. It might be a little bit selfish, but it does benefit the group as a whole. Because if you have Buttinski there and Miss Motormouth, booze always helps settle the mood. Everyone benefits when the drinkers come home to roost, I'm just saying. Dude law. Then you have the druggies, and there's two variants of those. The first one, you have to hide your silverware and bolt down your TVs. The second one, the potheads, they love to eat and laugh at everything, even if it's not funny.
What these people are saying.
Or, if they're ashamed of their habit, they will find dark corners and places which are not observed to toke down. For example, you have the rich bad guy taking SpongeBob Bellina downstairs to collect some interest. And they run into Tony Toker in the laundry room, enjoying himself, exhaling his plume of Mary Jane Do You Wanna through a tube with fabric softener towel in the end because, that's gonna stop the smell. Right. Not that I've ever done that or anything, but it doesn't work. They're just high and they think it does.
I can hear my hair growing.
Next, we have the alphabet community. Limp gay, butt twerking, queer, screen 5. In this instance, you have two sides of the same coin. You have the flamboyant Freds and the down low Dans. Flamboyant Fred is the life of the party, and you're glad you invited him. But if he happens to be a drinker, family or not, you better watch out, because he's gonna try to put it in your stinker. Then you have Down Low Dan, caught in the storm of a sexless marriage. He got married just to have kids, but now that that's over, he went back to being a pole smoker. And you can cut the shame and tension with a knife in every room he's in. And his wife is one of the few women who will ever get any of my sympathy. Because that is a poisonous existence, and if kids are involved, you're trapped. But, with that being said, we're taking a quick break for the sponsor. And if you want to support the channel, go to Redonkulas.com/donate and sign up for Subscribestar. You don't have to sign up for a monthly contribution. Subscribestar lets you do a tip. Just the tip, because that's how it all begins.
Our current stunning and brave, duly elected, most popular president ever might have delivered the coup de grace to the Republic, but the first shots were fired by useful idiot vaginuts in sheep's clothing peddling lies and propaganda before our former Kenyan-in-Chief made it legal. Take a stand against the tyranny and get yourself a copy of Surviving Fourth Wave Feminism today. A link is in the description.
Moving on to the next category, crime and punishment. Only one of these does the crime. The other two, well, they're giving you a hard time. First one, flat out, the criminal. This person, he can also be the druggie. That's two shots. If he's a pothead, you pretty much don't have to worry about it because potheads, on average, are not criminals. But if they're into the hard stuff, hide everything. Your silverware, your electronics, your children, and your guns, because that stuff will disappear. It'll get mysteriously turned into a white powder and get blown up a hooker's ass with a drinking straw. Hey! If you knew this and still invited this guy, I don't have any sympathy for you. If this person has multiple convictions and has stolen from your family before, what were you thinking? You get what you get. And we all have the same excuse. I understand, but he's family. Wah. If you and him keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, you're insane and you have no business putting together these gatherings.
Every time I invite Klepto Ken, I've got to get a new TV. Gee, I wonder why that is.
You serious?
Next person in this category I call Mr. or Mrs. Too Touchy. Just like the person who was installed into the White House, Senator Scratch and Sniff, screen 5. And yes, I call him senator because that was the last position that he was allegedly elected into. And they are right at home with Sally Sloot and Steven Stewed. These are the people who throw back a few glasses of wine and they forget you're all related. And that is how you get red trash, if you know what I mean. And I made a whole video about that. Links in the description. These are the people who are all too happy to work off that inter-family loan, if you know what I mean. Or, if they're not the touchy-feely type, you're gonna hear all about their cack stacking. Oh my God. On the bright side, you'll probably find out what antibiotics are used to fight super gonorrhea. Oh, don't get me wrong. Everyone likes a good shagnadigan story, but not when it's a member of your family. So do an about face and march your ass out of there so you don't get balls deep in that conversation. Especially if it's your grandma. Ever try to pry apart a tuna melt with onions? Got 'em out. Now we're gonna get into the real interesting people who show up at these gatherings, so I hope you saved the strong stuff for the end. I call the next two a harmonious yin and yang. You have combative Carl and submissive Sarah. Combative Carl has an opinion about everything, even if he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. But it happens to be the opposing argument for everyone else in the room. That person showed up for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to pick a fight. Oh, yeah, and to drink and eat you out of house and home. I forgot to mention that one. And when you point that out to him, guess what? He's got an opposite opinion about that as well.
I can bring food if I want to. Fuck it. I got money. Yeah.
But unfortunately, submissive Sarah came along in tow and she agrees with everyone. Do yourself a favor, segregate those two away so the rest of you can have some peace. In the meantime, pray that the wincest doesn't happen. I'm just saying they don't call her submissive Sarah just because she agrees with everything. But that is the attitude that she brings to every family gathering.
I didn't think about it that way, so you're right.
And that is why you put her and Carl together in their own room and just shut the goddamn door. And while we're at the next group of people, you want to keep them as far away from each other as possible. First of all, you have the turbo liberal. We all have one, so let's drink. You know, the one who thinks UBI won't totally bankrupt the country. Weh. And socialism, well, that's a great idea. It's never been done correctly, though. Free abortion, free college, in fact, free everything.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
You do know that the government doesn't actually have any money of its own, right? They cannot give you anything that they don't steal from productive people. And that automatically excludes the turbo liberal. Obviously, you can't put that person in a room with me because I am the veteran and salty dog. I have actually traveled to other countries, seen the raw evil and bullshit that exists there, and I'm not gonna take any of that leftist bullshit. You put the turbo liberal and the salty veteran in the same room, and it is on! And if it's the 4th of July, congratulations, you saved a boatload of cash on fireworks. Then you have Dominator Don, the guy who thinks he's the salty dog, but he's just an alpha dude. Usually Dominator Don and the rich a-hole are the same guy. Every once in a while he'll be the good dude, but it's so rare it's hardly worth mentioning. Dominator Don belongs in the kitchen with Sally Sloot. They can talk about all the roosters and hen houses they invaded and no one needs to hear it. Then you have passive-aggressive Pam or Paul who wishes they could be Mr. Dominator but they fall short. So instead they slither from room to room making their snide comments. But sooner or later they're gonna slither into the room with combative Carl and there's gonna be a black eye and stitches and the police may or may not come. In this instance, you need to be thankful for the next two people at this gathering. religious Reggie or Regina. These are the people who insist there has to be a blessing over the food and everyone must participate and no profanity in front of Grandma and Grandpa. The real crazy ones, well, they'll try to baptize the terrible liberal in the creek behind the house before dinner. You want a word of advice? Just hold their head underwater until they stop struggling. I'm sure they'll meet God by then. Say it with me. Allegedly. And the religious ones will sometimes blend into the final category here, the peacekeepers. These are the people who are experts at reading the room, and they make sure shit does not go down. I'm having a heated debate with somebody, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna punch him in the face. And somebody walks up and grabs my head and goes, hey, let's go look at the strawberry chocolate cake. It looks really good. Like, oh yeah. Let them take you. Otherwise, you're going to jail. Listen, everyone feels better after cake. And if you don't, you got a problem. Or you like to drink. And last but not least, this group of individuals, as soon as they show up to a room, you need to be walking out. The bitter betties, or better known as the crazy cat lady spinsters. They're either divorced or never married, and everyone knows about it because they can't shut their mouth. Nothing helps a bad mood like spreading it around, right, ladies? Every man in the world is not responsible for you being a biatcha. So do yourself a favor, grab the feather duster, clean out the cobwebs, and go buy yourself another dishwasher-safe boyfriend. Next, you have the one-upper, and this one is split right down the middle on gender lines. Dudes, they tend to one-up you in a positive way.
That's a nice sports car. But you know, I got a Challenger, and it's got 700 horsepower and cost me $10,000 more.
Oh, good for you.
But women, they tend to one-up you in negative ways. No matter how bad somebody's day was, even if it's a funeral, their day's worse.
I know your grandma took a dirt dart in and she died of chemotherapy, which was slow and terrible. But you know, I crashed my car, broke a nail, and my poodle died.
At least she doesn't have to be alive to feel the pain. Wah, shut up. The one-upper chicks and the bitter betties, they're like peaches and cream. They just kind of go together. Then, all by themselves. Thank God. You have the crazy cats. Not the crazy cat ladies. No. This has nothing to do with that. These are the people who are definitely mentally unstable. The schizophrenic who's having a good week, so he came off his meds 2 days before the family event, because that always works out well. Best case scenario, hey, they're in the kitchen talking to the microwave. Worst case scenario, your cat's in the microwave. But you shouldn't have a cat anyway. I hate cats. I shoot them myself in their dicks. Space Ghost. Or one of your grandparents has dementia, and that gets pretty crazy. You know, they crap their diaper, take it off, put it under their arm, and walk into the room with their wedding tackle in full view going, "Where I put this?" Or what Dr. Jill Biden calls a Thursday night, screen 5.
Joe, diapers go in the trash. Now go play with your blocks and Legos.
Now you have the last two members of this effed up family tree, and they kind of go together. The Justifier and the Betrayer. Because you can't have betrayal without somebody trying to justify it, right?
Yeah, he ripped the mirror off your truck backing out, but he does have insurance and he's family, so don't kick his ass.
Then you have the betrayers, who are the lowest level of human scum. These are the ones that keep in contact with your ex after the divorce and feed them information. And when you catch them at it and call them out, they change from the betrayer to the justifier.
Well, we're still friends, even though you're not married anymore. Wah.
Let's just say you got divorced and you got the full Monty. You got 2 kids, so you got an assload of child support, and you're paying Alice isn't horny any more money, and they're taking 60% of your take-home pay. So you decide the best way that you can survive is to work for cash under the table with a second or third job. And the betrayer in your family relays that information to your ex-wife. Now you're getting hammered in court again and the IRS shows up. Thanks a lot. The Justifier will say this.
You know what? You're making more money and you need to take care of your kids.
How am I supposed to live? 3 meals of f*** off a day isn't worth shit. That is just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many, I can't even go into them. But if you have one, put them in the comments below. The list of betrayal that could happen, especially between family members, is nearly limitless. Kinda like banging your dead brother's widow while you're still married. That is after, of course, knocking up a stripper and refusing to pay child support, all while getting foot jobs from your niece. The whole Biden family just drank themselves to death, so let's just finish this off.
Come on, man. Give me a little break here.
Every person watching this video has drank between 4 and 8 shots. And if you haven't, you're either an orphan or you're straight up lying. You can't be ashamed of family, dudes. It just is what it is. You can't pick your family, but you can pick your friends. And you can go pick your nose, which I'm gonna go do off camera. I'm done with you. What's up, you Dan? Dude, it seems so dark in here.
Yeah, it looks great on the camera.
Gloom and doom, man.
It's a bar. What bars do you go into are well lit and happy?
That's a valid argument. Like you walk in the room and you're like, oh, you got a down low guy in here. Who is it? Which one of you got? I can feel it here. Get your eyes off me, because I'm not that guy.